Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today I've got a real fun show. It's taken up completely by a top 10 list, but I think you're going to like this one. It was sent in by Teresa Young from the Stamporama website. And that's where she hangs out, anyways, mostly, or always. Anyways, she sent me her list of top 10 finds, top 10 stamps or items that she found in Kiloware or box lots. These are items she didn't set out to purchase. She just bought a big batch of stamps, and these are the things she found. Two of them are jackpot finds, really. And stick around and find out what they are. So I talked to Teresa on a Zoom call, and she will tell you all about her finds. So without further ado, here's Teresa. Okay. So welcome, Teresa.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well, thanks for being here. This is exciting. This is my first live stream, so to speak. It won't be live when it's on the video, but anyway. So okay. So you're going to show your top 10 list of Kiloware finds or collection finds. Not necessarily Kiloware, I guess. Some of them were in collections that you bought, maybe?
These are all either from big box lots or Kiloware or just envelopes full of stamps. They weren't purchases. They were finds.
Right, not direct purchases. Just, okay. So, well, first of all, let's tell the viewers a little bit about yourself. I know you mainly as a Ireland collector. Is that your primary focus?
Pretty much. I've narrowed my scope quite a bit. I collect about a dozen countries. Ireland's one of my big interests. And I've been, I collect Scandinavia, Ireland, Japan, USA, a few others. Mm-hmm. I've been collecting for over 50 years, and I hate to admit that.
I was a late starter myself. I didn't start until I was about 19 or 20.
Oh, my dad gave me a shoebox full of stamps, mostly pre-war Germany, and I was hooked. That was it. And I never really took any big pauses. You know, like when I was busy, like when I was on my apprenticeship, I hardly ever got through, looked at my albums. But other than that, I kept up with it all these years.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess you're a big fan of fly specking, right?
Oh, yes. That's one of the things that makes treasure hunting so much fun, because common stamps that other people just say, oh, I've got one of those, they become a gold mine.
Right. Just to fill in anyone who's watching who's not familiar with that term, fly spec. Explain what fly specking is.
Okay. Fly specking is looking for tiny little variants in a stamp. It might be just one little spot of ink is different, or there's a line added to the scroll work on the edgings, or one of the common ones is Scandinavian stamps have things called inverted frames in the Denmark series, where there's a slight difference between how the frame was printed. Those are fly specking. And it takes, like I said, common stamps, and all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch of new things to look for. What's fun about it is it takes a bunch of inexpensive stamps, and you've got a whole new thing to work on, with very little cash outlay, which is great if you're on a budget.
Right. And these are usually, well, almost always varieties that are not listed in the catalogs, right? Because they're just, lots of times they're one-off deals. It might have been just no.
You have to go to specialty catalogs.
Oh, okay.
Like for instance, for Ireland, there's a catalog called Hibernian, and they list pages and pages of these little variants.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
Michelle catalog has that too for Germany. Boy, all the various plate flaws and stuff.
oh, they're fun.
Yeah.
Colnecht is starting to have a lot of them listed too, which is great. You can just
Hmm.
punch them up and they'll show all the different varieties. But I love fly specking. But you need a good source of magnification, a good loop or something,
Right. Yeah. And good eyes.
or blow the picture up on your computer screen, which is
Right.
super,
Yes.
super.
Uh-huh. So, well, let's dig into your top 10. And these are
Sure.
your top 10 favorite finds out of Kiloware and various lots. These are items that you did not deliberately buy, that you just found within stamp lots that you purchased. And
Everything here was from bargain basement, inexpensive mixtures and boxes. None of these were from high-end collections, or
mhm,
these were all like, woo, yay, you know,
mm,
gee whiz finds. I would say a lot of them don't have a lot of high catalog value, but I thought they were fun or
right.
different or interesting in some way or another.
Mhm. Right. For take example, this first one. Your number 10 is this cover that was franked with a 1 cent stamp and made it through the mail.
That was interesting. I had a friend who used to save all the mail for the local tax office. And I think this was somebody's way to save, you know, send a message to the tax collector. But yeah, penny stamp paid the full rate postage. I've seen that where the penny gets counted for $1 on frankings, but it's the first time I've ever seen a penny alone make it through the
Mhm.
mail. So that was kind of fun.
Okay. And then the next one, number 9, is from Germany.
This was one that I got when I was fairly young collector and was learning about forgeries, counterfeits.
Uh-huh.
I found it in a nickel bin in a dealer's office or a dealer's store. I mean, back when there were brick and mortar
Right.
stamp stores, there were actually two of them in my hometown of Kalamazoo at the time. But I thought, oh, this is a really good find because in the
Right.
catalog, postably used inflationary issues have pretty good catalog values.
Right.
So I thought, oh, this is worth like $100 or whatever. But I was soon to learn that
Yeah.
it was to me, it's one of my favorites because I learned so much from this
Mhm.
find. I learned a lot about fake cancels and cautious buying and how do you put a price on when you learn something. So yeah,
Right.
it's one of my favorites.
Okay. Well, number 8 covers your favorite area, Ireland.
Oh, perfins are wonderful when you're looking through uh, big bags full of cheap and expensive definitive mixes, especially from older definitive mixes. You never know when you're going to find a perfin or a pre-cancel, and this is one of my favorite perfins from Ireland. I've never found another one like this one. I
Hmm.
don't know why, but one of these days another one will pop up.
Do you know what company or office it came from?
I could look it up. Um,
God, no need to right now. But so, okay, well then moving right along. Number 7 is a USA forgery, and give the
oh,
viewers a chance to look at it, see if they can detect which one is real, which one's Memorex. It's kind of obvious, actually, isn't it?
10 years ago, they were pretty obvious. They were crude. But nowadays,
Yeah.
I posted a couple of side by side comparisons just last week on Stamporama, if you'd like to look, of some recent counterfeits from China. And wow, are they
Hmm.
getting scary good? But the older ones like this were much more obvious, and this just jumped right out of a very, very inexpensive Kiloware definitive mix. So, but if you buy US Kiloware, you should be able to find tons of counterfeits nowadays.
Yeah. Number 6 is some more USA, and these are misperfed stamps.
Right. When the perforating machines are stamping these out, somebody made a boo-boo and these weren't lined up properly. If you collect USA and you go through USA Kiloware, especially some of the older stuff, you will undoubtedly be able to find these. And the more they're shifted, the more fun it is.
Right.
Some of these with the coils, uh, if it's dead center, that's about as severe as you can get. I think I have a couple examples there. And then with the commemoratives, you'll see them running right through the middle of the stamps. They almost look like printer's waste, but they're fun to find.
Mm-hmm. Okay, going right along, another printing error from the USA.
This one really puzzled me. Normally, a misperf, everything is misperfed. But if you look at this one, the red lettering is in the correct position, but the design of the stamp is shifted.
Right, and here's the
So
actual way it should look.
if so somewhere in the printing process, in between one color being applied and the next one, it was shifted out position. So it made it into the correct position for part, and then, a glitch occurred somewhere in the middle, which is really unusual.
Yeah, it's unusual to see the multicolored part shifted. You would think if
Yeah,
something's going to shift, it would be the red, but what do I know?
yeah, I really don't know. It would be interesting to talk to somebody who's much more knowledgeable about the sequence of the printing process to discover at what point in the process this error occurred.
Mhm. Now, this list, as you gave it to me, these were in order from your 10th most favorite to your first most favorite, or were they just
Pretty much.
no particular? Because this next one, it kind of surprised me. That's only your fourth favorite, and it is a 15-cent Colombian, which it is a little bit damaged, but still, it's a $200 catalog value stamp normally.
Oh,
But
actually, that one is the type one, which is a
right, this is
$800
even
catalog.
a higher valued one. I have that one
Um,
here.
I don't know, money isn't everything.
Oh, I
It
know.
was really fun to find it. But
And
that one is a good example of when you go through a stock book, or that was from a box lot, and look behind every stamp, because that was tucked behind another stamp. And if I hadn't pulled every single stamp out of the stock book, I wouldn't have found it.
Mhm.
So look at everything. Look in the envelopes. You might find a letter. Look under everything, because that the dealers go through and they give everything a cursory inspection. And you come along behind them. You have the time to pull it all apart and really look, and that's where you find the goodies.
Right. Okay, I really like this next one. It's cute. It's funny, and and, I really like the juxtaposition. Both fingers. He's got the ET
It
finger and
really,
ET return to sender.
that one, I saw that and I just bust out laughing. I said, "Oh, that's a keeper." Isn't that cute?
Yeah,
ET,
just
go
like
home.
okay, and moving right along, number two, we're back to Ireland again, and this was a good eye here. You notice the shift, the perforations where the stamps come together are not aligned correctly, and you
Oh, well, no,
correctly.
actually, that in the old days, to make long coil rolls, they used to do something called a paste up joint, where they would paste together the end of one section to the next section. That's called a paste up coil. And Ireland had them, and they're found in many other early coil issues from other countries. They're hard to see if they're on paper. And so what I do when I see a long strip of an issue I know that has paste up joints, I'll hold it up to a light, and you can see in those pictures where you
Mhm.
can see that seam.
Right.
Some paste up joints are pricey, so those can be really great finds.
All right, which brings us to number one. This is your
Oh,
favorite find, and I've looked at it and looked at it. I can't figure out what makes this so special. Liar. Explain this one.
this issue was withdrawn from sale in Ireland about 2 hours after it was released. And within that short 2 hour period, somebody bought some of them and used them to send the payment to the light company or whatever. But a very few of these were postally used. And this is one of them.
Why was it
So this
withdrawn?
is because the man on the stamp is not the right person. It
Oh,
was a
that's
mistaken
crazy.
identity. Like, remember the Legends of the West we had where
Yeah, Bill Pickett. Yeah,
it was something like that.
Bill and
So,
Ben.
right. They withdrew it and they reissued it with nobody's picture on it. But
Ah,
this was quite a find. This is actually considered a modern rarity, and there are only a few of them known postally used. And I actually got on the front page of Lynn's. Um,
yes, I have that right here.
yeah,
From December of 2014.
and it was
And
I to let people know, keep an eye on the Kiloware because they are out there. So I'm glad that people were made aware. Strange thing was, I found this in a $13 Kiloware mix that I bought from a dealer in Australia. So
mhm.
the mix went from Ireland to a company in England that sold Kiloware to the dealer in Australia and then back to me in the United States. So it really traveled.
I went all that way around the world without anyone discovering it. That's pretty cool. And to be in your favorite collecting area too. And it's serendipity or fortuitous or just
Well, it
luck.
just it just goes to show that's the fun of Kiloware. You never know what you're going to find. And you don't tell yourself, oh, it never happened to me. Oh, yeah. You keep looking at enough Kiloware and you'll find stuff. You just have to look.
Right. So,
It's getting harder to find Kiloware nowadays. So that's why I'm kind of shifting more to box lots.
uh-huh.
And one of the little tips, too, is if you um, buy box lots from countries that maybe don't like my example I give is people in other countries might not be aware of plate number coils that we look
Right.
for here in the USA. And if you buy a bag full of stamps, US stamps from overseas, the chances are you have a better chance of finding plate number coils. A lot of those
Mhm.
collectors just don't collect
Right.
them or they don't
Right.
know about them.
All right. Well, that was a great list. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Oh, your top 10 lists from your viewers are so much fun. I had to join in the party.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Teresa, you can find her on the Stamporama discussion board under the name Philately.
Yes, that's a great site.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great place to find good deals on stamps too. If you want to buy stamps.
What's so much fun about Stamporama is it's collectors selling their duplicates to other collectors.
Right. Right.
So and the prices are just so low. It's not another dealer website. It's
Hmm.
collectors. So it's much more casual and friendly and it's free. Well, there's a very small annual membership fee. I think it's $5 or something,
Hmm.
but it's well worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks again, and I will see you on the Stamporama board.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
again for the invite, Ted.
All righty. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.
Okay, bye now.
Told you that was a great list. Didn't you enjoy that? I mean, imagine being the lucky one to find a rare modern rarity, a rare modern rarity. That's as opposed to a common modern rarity. So, anyways, thanks for joining me today. And until next time, this is Ted the Talking Stamp Collector wishing you all happy stamping.